All right. Welcome, everybody. Holy cow, the chat room is going absolutely insane. Welcome. This is awesome. We're going to wait here for just a little bit to make sure that everybody can sign in and get online. I'm seeing a lot of stuff on the chat. I'd like to say right ahead of time, we would really prefer that chat is limited to questions. And I'll say that if we see anybody abusing chat, we will not only have to remove your chat message, but we may boot you from the room. So please don't abuse it. And we'll kind of let you chat all you want for now. But I guess we'll get started. So welcome, everybody. I hope everybody's well. Some of you may already know me, but for those who don't, my name's Tyler Clary. I've been a clinician with Fitter and Faster for almost 7 years now. I'm from Southern California originally, but I now live in Charlotte, North Carolina. I have a background as a professional swimmer where I was blessed to have had a career on the world stage for about 6 years and was a competitive swimmer for almost 20 years, actually just over 20 years. And I totally just dated myself. Hold on a second. I'm going to have to mute the chat. All right, we've muted the chat for now. We'll open chat up for questions here a little bit later. So anyway, I competed at the London Olympic Games in 2012, where I placed 5th in the 200 butterfly and won the gold medal in the 200 backstroke and set the Olympic record. I went to school at the University of Michigan, where I studied computer science, and I recently took up a position with Fitter and Faster as Director of Sales and Marketing. And that was after working with Chip Ganassi Racing for almost 2 years, where I sold sponsorship across our NASCAR and IndyCar programs. But enough about me. Obviously, there's a lot going on in the world right now, and I've noticed that there are very many pools that are closed, and swimmers in many cases are being forced to stay at home, excuse me. This webinar is really meant to help our community stay as active as possible while the country is under some level of quarantine. And all I want is to be able to help our large family get through this difficult and uncertain time. That being said, we've noticed overwhelmingly that people want to know how they can stay in shape or even get stronger while they're at home. And that's exactly what this webinar is for. So welcome to this episode, which is titled How to Stay in Shape During Quarantine. And we are so lucky, and I'm so excited that we have my good friend Tyler McGill with us here to present. Tyler and I were actually roommates at the London Olympic Games in 2012, where he also competed and also became an Olympic gold medalist as part of the USA 400 medley relay, where he swam the butterfly leg. Tyler's now the head coach of Opelika swim team just outside of Auburn, Alabama, and he has graciously put together a presentation that we will view shortly, along with videos and even a handout that we're going to be sharing that everybody can use from the comfort of their own homes to stay active. During Tyler's presentation, we will be showing polls to get feedback from everybody that is here. And you've probably already noticed that there is a chat function. We know that within the webinar, and we encourage you to engage with us while the presentation is ongoing. But right now we have it muted because there are so many of you here, and that's awesome. Of note, if at any time you find that the webinar has frozen, you can simply reload the page and you'll be brought back. Make sure you stay until the very end of the webinar as well, because we will be opening up our virtual floor so that you can ask any questions that you might have, and we can try to answer those to the best of our ability. Also, the replay of this webinar is going to be available on our website at fitterandfaster.com. So if somebody wasn't able to come, or you thought something that we discussed here was really useful, go ahead and let people know that they can see the replay on our website. Lastly, we're going to be holding more webinars next week to follow up with this one, so you should be paying close attention to our social media to make sure that you don't miss any webinars that you might like to attend. Without further ado, I'd like to bring Tyler McGill on, and we're going to let him start this up.
All right. Thanks, Tyler. Appreciate it.
Yeah, man.
No, a lot of people don't know. Tyler and I first met, 2009. Tyler and I were roommates in Rome together. Part of the World Championship. So it was awesome the other day when he called me and just asked, like, hey, we're thinking about trying to do this webinar series, and a lot of people trying to stay in shape and do stuff over the break. And just so happened that I had just sent out some workouts and some advice that I sent to my team. And into my crew here just to say, hey, listen, like this is what I'd recommend. So it just so happened that it worked out, and hopefully everyone gets something out of this and can really take what we've talked about today and just move forward through however long that stretch is. It could be a month, it could be 2 months. I mean, we don't really know. And so having a good base of, okay, what can I do? What's available for me? How do I organize myself during this time? I think is going to be really awesome. So we'll get into some slides here in a little bit, but one story that I wanted to share with everybody before we get started is something that also happened in 2008. So I was doing some dry land with the Auburn University team. I went to Auburn University, and we were doing some dry land, and we were doing these jumps, like these big bounds. And so you'd land and you try to hold your squat position. And I jumped, I landed, and my knee popped, and I just went straight to the ground. Like I was on the ground, and everybody at that time was like just stopping what they were doing and staring at me. And I tried to get up, but my knee wouldn't really let me get up. And so it got me, and basically they're like, hey, just sprained your knee. It's going to hurt, but we don't want you to do anything for 3 weeks. It's like, great. So instantly it was like, I got to do something. I've got to be able to stay active. I've got to stay in shape. I've got to be ready to go for when I am back, able to get back in water and do stuff. And so I think that's where a lot of people are right now. It's like, what can I do? How can I stay in shape? How can I stay engaged with my swimming? So as much as this is about staying in shape, a lot of people think physical shape. Okay, I've got to be fit. I've got to maintain a certain habit. So for me in 2009, I couldn't do anything for about 3 weeks. I spent some of that time just swimming on a cord in the water in place. Well, 4 months later, I broke the American record on the 100 fly. So this little setback for a lot of us seems like a big setback, just like that seemed like a big setback for me back then. But in the end, this is going to be such a small little, thing on our radar and our timeline of swimming that a lot of us will get back past this, and we'll get past it even better. We'll be more engaged with what we do in the water. So without further ado, Tyler, let's go ahead and jump into these slides real quick, and we'll just get this going. It'll be short, pretty informal, but hopefully you guys get some good stuff out of this. So I'm going to go ahead and start this presentation. Cool. All right. Now, hopefully everyone can see that. This is the end one. So this is the workout that we're going to get to at the end. I'm going to take us all the way back to the beginning. No peeking here. This is all good stuff. We'll have some videos. Tyler and I were going over stuff beforehand. So here we go. All right. So just quickly, staying in shape during the break. And the way that we can do that is dry land, really. So that's why we've got this sample workout, staying in shape during the break, while we do it, and a workout example. All right. So I think to start, we have to remember why it is that we swim, even though we can't do that right now. And the number one reason always across all research, across all platforms is like kids swim and families swim because it's fun and they want to be with their friends. Like that is always the number one answer, right? And that's awesome. We want to maintain that way. But obviously when you take away the pool aspect, going to the pool, we lose a lot of that kind of stuff. So we got to remember that we also swim because it challenges us physically, right? We feel that physical pain, or we feel that progress forward, whether it's a technical thing or a fitness thing. It challenges us, and we see that reward, and so we want to keep coming back to the reward, right? So it makes us think, right? Like I'm a big math person, so staying engaged with my sport and why I swim, like it always made me a better student of the sport. A lot of us, it gives us personal time. I know that when I finished swimming and I started coaching with Opelika, and I finished coaching at Auburn and started coaching at Opelika, the first maybe 2 or 3 months that I was coaching, I found myself getting in the water maybe 2 or 3 times a week, which is way more than I had ever done after my own swimming career. And I would swim maybe 500 yards, 600 yards. And the reason I would do it is I'd get in, and like at that time, I couldn't be bothered by my phone. I couldn't answer emails. No one was going to pop into my office and ask me questions. And so I think for a lot of us, we swim because it gives us that personal time. And while you're at home, and I think we'll talk about this in a second, like doing dryland and trying to stay in shape can do that for you guys too. There's going to be so many distractions around right now. And you're going to be limited in what you can do day to day without just going for a walk or getting away, that having some personal time is going to be really important. Swimming gives us good structure to our day and to our week. I mean, we know what days we've got swim practice. Even if you don't go every day, it's like, okay, I go on Tuesday and Thursday, or I go on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, whatever it is. Everyone's got that structure. I think it's really important that you have that structure. And I think finally it gives us something to talk about at home. I've talked to a lot of parents, a lot of swimmers that I coach, and a lot of the conversation around the dinner table or standing around the kitchen or just in the car on the way home usually starts with, hey, how was practice? And sometimes it's good and we can elaborate on what we did. And sometimes it's like, it was terrible. Let me tell you about what happened at school today because that was awesome. And so swimming can kind of give you that conversation started at home. And so I think it's important that we have that in our lives and in our communities. Because even with your swim friends, like if they missed a practice, the first thing they're asking you is like, what'd you do at practice? And we can engage with some of that here. And so I think it's important to also remember, okay, so why do we do dryland during this time? Why do we stay active? Why do we stay engaged with dryland? Well, number one, we can make it fun and we can do it with our family. My wife and I, we were sitting outside right before this and we're like, hey, look at this awesome workout that we just found on Pinterest, where it's like every single letter of the alphabet was a different workout. So not only can we do something fun with our 2-year-old and 6-year-old, we can also do an exercise. So, I mean, I know for us, that's something that we're going to do tonight. We're going to get the girls outside and we're going to do some exercise and some dryland with our family. Even though it's not a lot and it'll be super chill and relaxed. I think 1, we can make it fun, and 2, we can do it with our family. Obviously it challenges us physically. And we'll talk a little bit of this at the end, outside of just like the physical challenge of working and being consistent with your work. I think we find that not always the best swimmers are great at dryland. There's a lot of times that they are, but for a lot of you who are doing dryland or have consistently done dryland at swim practice, you'll probably find that, oh, wow, that person's really good at dryland and that person's really good at swimming in the water, but they might not always be great at the opposite. And so, I mean, the best swimmers are not always the best at dryland. And so even if you're not great at dryland, this is an opportunity for you to improve that, right? Get better at that during this time. And then when you get back into the swing of things with your team, whenever that may be, like you're that much ahead of the game, right? Because there's a lot of people that during this time won't do anything. It makes you think. You've got to pay attention to what the exercises are. You know, you never know if there's going to be something new or a new challenge. Right? I talked about finding that workout on Pinterest. Well, find a new workout outside of the one that we talk about today. Find something else that you can do. It's like, oh man, I've never done that before. Here's this awesome video of this person doing these push-ups where they clap or something like that. And you can give it a try. And I think it makes you think and pay attention as you go through a workout. That personal time I talked about, again, I think this is so vital. And you'll see at the end of my workouts that I've got something special from our team to do. I think you should do it as well, but giving you that personal time to really just have time for yourself, right? Allow yourself to process your thoughts and process what you're going through during the day, and be frustrated that you can't go hang out with your friends. Like, be frustrated that you're stuck at home. Be frustrated that you can't swim. But you get to have those thoughts and you get to work all that stuff out mentally while you do these workouts. And I mean, you also get to make the choice to do it, right? So that's the cool part. I think a lot of times when we've got swim practice, we're thinking, oh, mom's making me go to swim practice. Dad's making me go. Today I don't really want to go, but they're making us do it. Like, the cool thing is right now, there is no practice for a lot of people. So if you want to continue to get better at swimming, like, this is a choice that you get to make, which is, I think, even better. Gives that structure to your day, just like swimming would. You can schedule that same time every day. Y'all are used to having practice at a certain time. Well, just instead of practice, go do a little dryland, or wake up and do that before you even start your day. And again, it talks, gives us something to talk about at home. How did that workout go? What was the hardest part? What's something that we could do together? Is that a workout that I could do? I think parents, if you're wondering, if you find a workout online and you're not sure if it's even something that you could do, like ask, hey, was that real hard? Would you want me to do that with you tomorrow? Is there something that we could do together with that? Just that engagement with parent and child during this time. I think everyone's starting to value that more and more. And so this is just another way to do some of that kind of stuff. So we know why we swim. We've got to know why we do dry land during this time. And I think what you should notice here, none of it says, make me a better swimmer, right? None of it says up there, I've got to do dry land today because I'm missing all this swimming and doing this dry land. I'm doing this because I'm going to be a better swimmer. No, I think we do dry land right now because it keeps us engaged in our sport and it keeps us engaged with ourselves and our own lives and adds some structure and some stuff to what we're doing. But the word swimming isn't on that page there on that slide. So just remember that there's a lot of things going on right now, and staying engaged with your sport can be a huge part of you eventually getting better. But my philosophy with dryland is like, you do dryland for a lot of other reasons that improve the person, and that applies to your swimming. But anytime you're doing dryland, you're not doing all these push-ups thinking, okay, every single time I do a push-up, I'm becoming a better swimmer. You're just trying to improve who you are in all areas of what you do. So, but yeah, why we do dryland and understanding why is really important. All right, so how can you structure your week? Well, number one, keep it simple. All right. Again, a lot of people will look online and they'll think, oh my gosh, look at all these really intense, cool workouts that are going on. Like, your workout during this time does not have to be this crazy elaborate workout. One, you probably don't have all the equipment. Right? If you're someone that's used to lifting weights or using lots of different kind of equipment in your dry land, well, number one, you don't have access to that kind of stuff anymore. You probably don't. So one, got to keep it really simple, right? What is stuff that you can do with your swim equipment that you have at home? What's something that you can do even if you don't have the piece of equipment, right? Number two, keep it safe. You got to remember that doing these workouts during this time is your choice, right? When you are at swim practice, you are working with coaches who have thought about the exercises that you're supposed to be doing. They're watching to make sure that you're doing them the right way. They're giving you adequate breaks, making sure that throughout the workout, they're not putting you in any kind of danger or harm by doing certain exercises. So like, if you see a really awesome video of somebody doing these massive box jumps, or they're doing something totally out there, it's just something you've never seen, don't do that, right? Like, keep it simple, keep it safe, and then keep it consistent, right? Do the same exercises consistently for a stretch and get better at them. I think of it like your technique in swimming, right? Like, your coach wouldn't, or shouldn't, at least I should say, one day tell you, hey, let's work on this with your freestyle. And before you even get better at that one thing, give you something else. And before you get better at that other thing, give you another technique that you want to do, right? You want to get a new part of your technique, or even a couple things, and get better at them and get better at them and get better. And once you've mastered those things, then you can add something new. So if you keep these kind of dry lands and these routines simple, well, that helps you, right? If you keep them safe, you know that you can do them well, right? You don't have to rush to do them. You're not going to be judged by anybody when you do them. And when you keep them consistent, you can see progress throughout them. So when you're trying to structure your week, again, keep it simple, keep it safe, keep it consistent, right? So this is the example here that I gave to my team on Monday. We did like a little medicine ball jump rope workout, nothing crazy. You'll see that here in a second. For us on Tuesday and Thursday, we're going to do like a little circuit. It's a 25 station circuit. After the warm up, it takes about 20 minutes. It's something that our team has done in the past. So a lot of them are familiar with the exercises if they've been coming to our drylands before. And then use your resources like the internet, right? I saw an article online that was talking about a free yoga class and how these yoga classes were going to be free over the next so many weeks. It's like, try to do one of these. Even if you've never done yoga before, Try something different in a safe environment where you're not going to be stressed. You're not going to be judged with your performance with it. So use some things like that to help. So then we just repeated it, right? So on Thursday we did that circuit again, and Friday we went back to a jump rope workout. I've modified the Friday workout a little bit so that what they do Monday and what they do Friday is very similar, but it's different. And so they can see that, okay, this is a little bit harder than it was on Monday. And now let's take that workout and try to improve on it. So that's kind of the idea with, go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No,
before we move on, I just thought this would be a good time to kind of get a feel for how many people out there are actually unable to get into the pool right now, because we kind of don't know because we haven't asked them, right? And I think it would be a good way to let people shout out. So I'm going to show a poll here in just a moment, and we would love for you to let us know if you're even able to get into the pool. We'll probably have a couple polls to follow as well. So go ahead and give us an answer on that, because we'd love to hear from you. And in many cases, I mean, we're already seeing overwhelmingly that people are unable to get into the pool, and that just kind of gives us a lot of validation that this is a perfect webinar for us right now. And it's really, really awesome. I just want to echo what I said earlier. Like, it's so awesome, and we're so excited to have Tyler McGill here as a resource for us, because a lot of people, 96% of people right now are unable to get into the pool. I mean, we have quite a number of people here that can't get to the pool, or actually, someone just mentioned in chat, or even to the gym to lift. So the fact that Tyler's giving us some of these resources that we can use to stay active and stay fit and stay connected during this time is absolutely huge. So sorry for the interruption, Tyler. You go right ahead.
No, you're good. No, you're absolutely right. And even me, like I started about 3 weeks ago getting back into the water and trying to swim twice a week and actually swim. And I was finding a great routine and really enjoying it. And it's like, man, I can't believe that just stopped. Like right in front of me, like our pool's down, our building shut down. It's like, man, I was just finding routine and motivation and consistency in what I was doing. And you're probably in the same spot and you're wondering, okay, so what's next? How do I keep moving forward? So again, hopefully this will help you. All right, so this is the warm up that I sent out to our team. And for me, I like to try to incorporate the same warm up every day, or at least the same exercises every day. I think doing the same warm up, it can be really good, but it can also challenge you and like, oh, I've been doing the same warm up for the last month or the last 2 months. So while you might not have to do the same order, right? Like try to do the same exercises, find out what works for you. I know that our warm up with our team has changed over the seasons. Like we find something that works really well. We find something that doesn't. And if it doesn't work, we take it out. So you can always do that. You got to understand why you do some of the exercise that you do. Again, a lot of times you'll see some videos online of people doing some warm ups. And again, they might look like they're really awesome warm-up exercises, but not knowing why they do them is kind of a challenge. And a lot of times I get questions, okay, should your warm-up be hard? I think it should be. Like, it shouldn't be easy, but your warm-up, it should challenge you to the point where you're getting a little bit of a sweat going, your heart rate's elevated, you feel like your muscles have been engaged and you're firing those muscles and you're getting things warmed up. So for us, I'm going to read through these. I've got a video that we're going to show. I promise you, I'm more excited in this video than I look. I was just trying to make sure I got all the exercises. This has kind of been not last minute, but once the idea of having this webinar came up, it was like, okay, let's get as much as we can in. I went to our pool real quick and shot a video, and it felt really eerie because the pool is just totally empty. So I'll show you this video here in a minute of me doing some of these exercises, but some of them are straightforward, right? So if you find a space of about 15 to 20 yards in your backyard or on a sidewalk, you can do some of the stuff, but you're just finding 2 spots that you can move back and forth between. So for us, we start at one end, we'll run down and we'll do our skips on the way back. When we do our skips, we're trying to skip as high as we can. So we're really pushing the ground, we're driving our knee up, we're trying to engage as much as we can. So we'll do that 3 times. Then we'll do some running to one end and then doing some butt kicks on the way back. Just again, engaging with our body, engaging in our space. And that'll come back here in a minute when we talk about why we do a lot of these exercises, but we got to understand the space that we're moving in, right? There's a difference between doing a butt kick and not getting your heel all the way up and doing one where you do. And so what's that difference? Well, that applies to your breaststroke, right? When you're doing your breaststroke, and I'll turn to the side here, when you're doing your breaststroke and you bring your heels up, right, there's a difference between bringing your feet up to here and then trying to get your hands out and do a breaststroke kick and getting them all the way up, right, setting your kick and getting a big push and going through. Well, if you know how to get your heel all the way up, that stuff applies, okay? We do an exercise called Frankenstein, and I've got that on the video. I'll show you in a second. We do a lunge and a reach, and I've got different variations of that I can show you, an inchworm, and then a quad stretch. We always finish our warm-up with doing some jumping jacks. The kids love to count, and so we'll be doing our jumping jacks, and we'll just see who can scream the loudest or count together and then do some push-ups together. So, Tyler, will you go ahead and pull up that first video if you've got it? There you've somewhere. Okay. Yes, here we go. All right. So this is me doing Frankensteins, and normally we're walking in place when I do these, but I'm going to pause it here. Okay, if you notice, I've got my hand straight out. The goal here is to stand tall and to be able to kick your hand up. So I've got my left hand out. I'm going to kick my right foot. So I want to kick up high, just like this. Again, normally you're walking, so I'll take a step and then do that, right? So that's our Frankenstein. We'll do that one exercise on the way down and jog back, and then we'll do the other leg. And again, all of this can happen within a 10 to 15 yard span. Okay, so the next one is a lunge and reach. So big step forward, you're going to reach straight up. Okay, here it is from the side. Okay, big step forward, lunge. Notice how when I do this, my knees close to the ground. Okay, my front leg is about 90 degrees. Okay, but also I'm not leaning forward. A lot of times I see swimmers when they do this, they'll fall and they'll put their belly and their chest onto their front leg. Okay, you want to be able to keep your body position upright this way. Okay, keep your eyes forward, and then you reach back, right? And try to, again, this is just warming up our legs, but it's also connecting our body from fingertips down to your toes. So here we go, little lunge and reach. All right. Okay, doing it forward here again. We're gonna lunge and reach, and you can always add a component. So I go into a knee hug here, right up on my toes. Again, this is just an easy way for you to engage and add stuff to your warm-up. Okay, instead of doing the same old exercise, little lunge and reach. Okay, bring your knee up. All right, let's see here. Inchworm. All right, one of the things I want you to notice here, I've lost some flexibility in my old man age, but you want to try to keep your legs as straight as you can, right? So hands down to the ground, hips are still high, you're not bending your knee, and you'll notice that when I start to walk my hands out, I keep my hips high, and then once my hands are out, then I can lower. All right, you can either walk your hands back in, or you can walk your feet towards your hands and move like an inchworm, right? So hands down, walking in. And one thing I want you to notice here is I lift my hips first, right? So I lift my hips high, almost like I'm doing a down dog in yoga, and then I walk my hands back in. And you can, again, walk hands in or walk your feet in, but you're walking out, all right? You can add a push-up into this, right? And then walk back. And I've got one more that we can add in here. It's called this Inchworm Push Up plus a Pigeon. And Pigeon is another name for a yoga move, but we'll do a push-up. Right, and then I'll bring my leg up and I'll pause it here. Trying to get my right ankle all the way up towards my left hand, right? And then I'll sit down, kind of on my knee, and really stretch out my hip here. So stretch down.
Hey Tyler, before we move on, I'd like to poll everybody again, because somebody texted me and asked, are we going to be sharing this full workout with everybody? So I just actually want to hear from everybody. Like, do you want us to send you a full workout? Like, we can share a full workout at the end of this through this platform. Just make sure you stay to the end. So let us know if you want to get a full workout at the end of the webinar. We're happy to share that through the platform. Overwhelmingly, people are saying yes. So that's, again, more validation that, cool. We're doing a really good thing, and that Tyler's very valuable time is being well spent here. So again, we're super pumped to have you here, Tyler. 95% of people are saying they want your workout. So I'll let you go on. I just figured this would be a good time to just get a little bit more engagement from everybody. You're doing a great job. Keep it up.
All right. All right. So here we go. Back to this video. I don't know where we were. Tyler's going to pull it back up for us. Tyler's the mastermind in all this. The other Tyler. He knows how to get these going to where they're supposed to be. All right. Give it a minute here. Try this again.
Let's try this again. There it goes.
All right. So we're going to jump forward a little bit. Here we go. Got the inchworm. All right. And then trying to remember where we are now. Doing a little quad stretch here at the end. Again, a lot of the mistakes that I see with the quad stretch when people do this kind of stretch to get themselves warmed up, and you'll see the example here in a second, is you want to make sure that when you're stretching, you're keeping your body in line, right? You don't have to move your knee a lot. You can just lean over a little bit, but you're trying to keep your back in a straight line and holding your leg. A lot of times what I'll see is people will grab this stretch and then they'll just hinge at their belly button and they'll crunch over this way. Like, you're not really stretching your quad out at that point, right? There's no point in leaning over if you're not going to move your knee back. So you want to make sure that you're moving that knee back as you go through the stretch. Okay, help get your body warmed up, right? Move the knee, lean forward a little bit, doesn't have to be a lot. And then finally, we're gonna finish with some scap raises. So we do our push-up position, and all you're trying to do is pull your shoulders back. So you don't even have to be in a push-up position. I'm gonna demonstrate it here in a push-up position here in a second, but what you wanna be able to do is just pull those shoulders back, right? So you can do that against the wall, squeeze your shoulders together. We'll do some jumping jacks, then we'll just finally finish with warming those shoulders up, all right? So those are just some of the warm-up exercises that we can do. Super simple, nothing that's going to really be too overwhelming. But if you're in a 15 to 20 yard space and you're moving back and forth, then you are you're going to be in a pretty good spot to have your body warmed up and be able to move through. So again, if it's done in the right way, dynamic warm-up should take anywhere between 10 and 12 minutes. You should have a little bit of a sweat going. And then you're ready for your main workout. All right. So I'm going to jump over to the main part of our dryland workout, the medicine ball jump rope routine.
Hey, Tyler, when we play the demo
Yep.
videos, on the right hand of your screen, there's a little volume icon. Just click that and it'll mute the sound on it so that we don't get the noise. I'm unable to control that for some reason, but just FYI.
Yeah, I can do that. Yeah. So when you're doing this, you'll definitely need something to kind of keep track of time, whether that's a parent or a friend, a sibling that can do this with you. But again, it's super simple, right? If you don't have a medicine ball, take the swim buoy out of your bag and just use that. It's not about how heavy that med ball is. It's about you staying engaged with what you're doing and just paying attention to that and being mindful that, okay, this is a time where I can't swim, so I want to stay active, right? So you don't have a jump rope. It's just like running in place. Pretend you got, the handles of the jump rope in your hand and you can do a little mock jump rope. Okay. Or you can do jumping jacks. Either way, and when we do this workout, it's just nice and smooth. So for this workout, what we did is we did a 30-second jump rope, nice and smooth. We'll do a 30-second toes to ceiling. Again, a smooth speed, just something that you can stay moving. And then a squat where you hold the medicine ball at your chest. Now, I will say a lot of this stuff, like, I've had a lot of awesome coaches and I've taken a lot of dryland examples from a lot of coaches. So a lot of this stuff I used from when I was a coach prior or even an athlete prior. So, some of these exercises that you've probably seen before, and there's a reason why a lot of teams do them. And there's a real reason why a lot of coaches run these types of movements. But again, I think just staying engaged and staying moving is really important. So I'm going to pull up this second video here. I'm going to demonstrate the jump and reach kind of at a smooth speed, doing a toes to ceiling medicine ball movement, and then some squats. I think doing a jump rope and a plank is pretty self-explanatory. But let me demonstrate these videos here. So I'll pull these exercises, these videos up real quick. All right, so hopefully you can you just see me moving here. Tyler, are you able to still hear me while I'm talking about this?
Yep, we can hear you. Just try to hit the speaker icon on the right side of the screen that's just under the video, and that should mute it.
Gotcha. All right. So here I am just doing a little jump and reach, right? And again, I'm just trying to reach the ball out away from my body. So as I jump, I'm reaching my hands forward, right? Trying to stay in rhythm. Just same that you want to do when you would swim. I'm going to show that again. I'll back this video up so you guys can see that again. It's just simple jump and reach. That's what it looks like from the side, right? Jump and reach, nice and simple. All right. Here we go again. Jump and reach. Then we'll go into this second video here, the second exercise. All right, we're just going toes to ceiling. So reaching down, touching your toes, and then reaching up. Okay, now this will be really important later because we want to talk about spatial awareness and knowing how to move your body in space. Again, notice how the ball stays pretty close to my body. I get all the way up, stretch all the way up. Think about streamline here, right? Don't want to stop short. Get all the way down to your toes and reach up. Pretty simple. And then finish with some squats. And notice when I do my squats, I'm not trying to rush. I'm pausing at the top of my squat. Got my feet about shoulder width apart, keeping my heels down. The medicine ball stays up at my chest. So again, 3 really simple exercises that you can do there. But I think when you do them and you do them well and you do them consistently, then you end up getting a little bit better at what you're doing and getting stronger and getting fitter. And what ends up happening is, and not to be kind of ironic, but you get fitter and then you get faster, right? When I think that's kind of a cool part of what this whole thing is. So
beautiful plug.
I know, right? Fitter and faster. So what you end up doing is you do your jump rope for about 30 seconds, or you do your jump and reach for about 30 seconds. You do your toes to ceiling movement. You do your squats, and then you take a minute rest, right? So doing your jump and reach and your toes to ceiling and 10 squats, that's probably going to take you anywhere between 1:20 and 1:30 seconds. For a lot of people, that's longer than 100 that you're ever going to do, right? And doing 4 rounds of that, now you're starting to do things in the same duration that you're doing a swim in. So doing that exercise itself should take about 10 to 12 minutes. Take a water break, right? There's no rush. You don't got to get in the water right after this. So your coach isn't yelling like, hurry up, we got to get this dry land in. We've only got an hour and a half in the pool. No, take your time, right? Do things the right way, do them well. After your water break, we went 45-second jump rope and then straight into a 30-second plank. Take a little bit of rest, not a lot, 15 seconds to grab your jump rope and go again. Okay, if you do that, then you're going to go about for 6 minutes with short breaks, and now you're doing something for a little bit longer, right? You're building in some aerobic fitness there. Again, if you don't have a jump rope, do some jumping jacks, do a fake jump rope. You've got a choice there. Do 4 rounds of that and take a rest. Just like you would at a pool in a swim practice. You do a little bit and then you take a rest. You do a little bit, you take a rest. Okay, and then we finished with 30 seconds jump rope going as fast as you can, right? Like at practice, you want to be able to change speeds. You don't just do the same speed over and over and over. That'd be boring. Well, don't have your dryland workout be boring. Change speeds. Not everything has to be all out. Do things really smooth and controlled, and then try to do some things fast. And then do some things smooth and controlled again, and then try to do some things fast. So we'll do those jump ropes as fast as possible, then go straight into some streamline jumps. Again, just trying to be athletic, trying to be quick with our movements. It's a simple exercise, right? Just doing a jump and reaching into streamline. It's nothing that's going to be too challenging, but as soon as you do those jumps, right back down into your plank, hold your plank, and then you can rest for 30 seconds. So think of that more as like a sprint, right? You're doing like a 50 or 75 all out, and you get some rest. All right. So that's the main part. We warm up, we do that, and that whole workout should take anywhere between 30 and 45 minutes, depending on how many rounds you do or something like that. So again, why do we do these exercises? Okay, well, number one, awareness of space. And so I think it's really important in swimming that you understand, like when you're swimming freestyle and your hand's coming over and you reach into the water, there's a difference between reaching right here, right, and having your hand in line with your shoulder, and when your hand comes over, reaching out here, right? This is from here to here is about 4 inches of spatial awareness, right? So if your coach is telling you, hey, when you do your breaststroke and your hands come through and you get your head and you got your ears above your arms, right? The difference between the ears above your arms and the ears below your arms is about 2 inches, right? That's not a lot of space. So as you go through this and you're doing your touch your toes and then reach up, well, if a coach says, you're coming this short of touching your toes, that matters, right? Like building that awareness for, okay, I need to be reaching here. You're coming in freestyle and you finish your stroke and you got your arm way out wide, right? The difference between getting your arm in close to your body and being long and narrow and it being out here, well, that's a huge resistance difference. So if you can learn how to be aware of your space, right? Even in butterfly, your hands coming in, are they coming all the way in, or do you land them at your shoulder width apart, right? Both of those things, they matter, okay? Are you catching underneath your body? Are your hands coming out really far and wide when you start your catch? So building an awareness of where your space is, understanding fitness and athleticism. So the athleticism side, going from one movement to another builds athleticism. There's a reason why if you do a bunch of 100 IMs at practice versus a bunch of 100 freestyles, like I used to get way more exhausted doing IM because you're constantly changing strokes, you're being athletic in what you're doing. So do that with your dry land, right? Don't just say, okay, I'm going to do push-ups for 10 minutes and be done. No, do some push-ups, do some jumps, do some mountain climbers. There's lots of different things that you can do with that. So changing movements, build some athleticism. A lot of this stuff is pretty similar in the race duration that you might have from a 50 up to a 500, right? And if you want to think about your mile, right, go for a jog, right? Go for a long walk, do something where you're being consistent with your effort that way. But again, the whole idea of changing speeds and being athletic is, I think, really important, all right? And then, again, to me, this time off is more about what are you doing and being aware of what you're doing. So when you're at school, you're pretty active all day, right? You're getting up, you're going to class, you're being engaged with your friends, you're moving around, you're not stagnant. Well, right now you've got to be aware of what am I doing during the day? Am I sitting down at my computer and doing an hour of work and then laying down on the couch and texting a friend for an hour and then sitting back down? Or are you being active? Are you getting up and moving around? So just what else can you do during this time to keep improving yourself? Well, be aware of what you're doing, okay? I was talking to my brother the other day, and he reminded me that when I finished swimming, I had a lot of people comment like, hey, man, you still look like you're in good shape. What are you doing? It's like, I'm just aware of what I'm not doing, right? I'm not swimming for 2 hours anymore. I'm not burning thousands of calories every day. So what am I doing? Well, I'm just being more mindful of the fact that my life has changed a little bit, and it's going to change for me at that point for a long time. For you guys here, your life's going to change for about, I don't know, 2 months, hopefully, or less. So be aware of what you're doing during the day. If you find yourself getting bored, don't just be bored and get up and check the fridge a million times. That's what I do during the day, right? Just be aware of that. Go for a walk, go for a run. I think it's a good time to learn a new skill. So lots of stuff that you can do. But I think Tyler's going to chip in here. What do you got?
No, I think that point you just made about going for a walk or run is such an interesting thing because, you know, there are some places in the country, and obviously we have some international guests here, and I'm sure that there are even some people from Italy that are here that are under mandatory shelter in place orders. Sure. But for the most part, you know, here in America, people aren't being forced to stay at home. Now, of course, there are some examples where that's not the case, but you can still go outside to some level. You can still go for a walk. You can still go for a run. And I think that's super important right now. And while what we're doing right now is trying to encourage people to work out from the comfort of their home, and really it should be as much as you can stay at home. But anytime you get the opportunity when you know that there aren't as many people out, get out, go for a walk, go for a run. I mean, there are a lot of things that you can still do during this time. And I love a lot of the points that you're making, Tyler, because it's so much like swimming is such a cerebral sport. And a lot of times I feel like people get into this mode where they just show up to practice and they kind of turn their brain off and they just focus on that black line on the bottom of the pool. And this time can be so much about expanding your mind and really subscribing to that whole 90% mental, 10% physical thing. So I'm eating up everything that you're saying. So this is great.
Awesome. Yeah. And I think, again, I'm going to go back to the slide here, but like learn a new skill, right? Like, I don't know, I kind of want to learn how to juggle, and I've never done that. And some people like that's super easy and they know how to do that. Well, like learn some new coordination, learn how to do drawing, right? Like download or watch a YouTube video about how to draw really good pictures and learn something new. You've got lots of time on your hands now that you might not realize you have. So, and then in terms of swimming, like this is probably the only time I'm going to talk about swimming. Spend time focusing on the other areas. So like learn how to set goals. A lot of times swimmers will write down a goal and they'll say, I want to go this time, or I want to get this place at this meet, without ever really researching and knowing what it takes to do that. So write a goal, break it down, understand what it means to do that. And that could be a whole new webcast in itself. So for Tyler and any of the other Fitter and Faster family that's listening, like a webcast on goal setting would be amazing, because there's so many areas in that, right? So, do better in your nutrition, right? Be more aware of your sleep habits. Okay. So shut down your electronics. You're going to be on them all day. So shut them down. And then I wrote this one, just be a swim nerd. Like get on YouTube and watch every race from the 2004 Olympics, right? Like sometime really far long ago, and just kind of see how the swimming's progressed and really understand that this is an awesome sport. There's been a lot of really cool people that have come through this sport. But just kind of invest in that side of the swimming a little bit. So you can do that and still get better at swimming without really recognizing it. So, all right. So here's the full workout, right? And I talked about, finishing up something at the end. You'll notice down at the bottom, we got meditation. When you're done with your workout, take 3 to 5 minutes, just lay down. If it's nice outside, go lay a towel down outside, close your eyes, and just visualize yourself swimming, right? Think about yourself high in the water, how that water feels, your head position. There's lots of things and positive things that happen when you visualize yourself swimming and visualize your technique and understand your technique that way. Super powerful, just mindfulness research. Is really in the last couple of years, but taking that time to decompress and recognize the way that things feel and visualize the way that we feel in the water will be super powerful. So even if you just go for a short jog, like at the end of your jog, even if you're not tired, like lay down, take 3 to 5 minutes, close your eyes, picture yourself swimming, and do some visualization, because when you get back in the water, that's going to pay huge dividends for sure. All right. So this was the workout I sent on Monday. And then I'm going to kind of bounce back and forth between this slide and the last one, which is, okay, so how do you develop that? Like, do I just do the same thing every Monday and Friday for the next so many weeks? Well, no, you can always modify it, right? So this is the workout that would be for a Friday. And then again, notice the warm-up's the same, right? Literally what we're doing in the exercises is the same, but, you're going to go 2 rounds now, right? You're going to do some jump rope and some plank and get some rest, jump rope and plank. And then you're going to do your jump and reach, your toes to ceiling, and your squats, right? And then you'll do 2 rounds of that, right? So it's a little bit more work, and you're going back and forth between the 2 exercises. You take a little bit of a break, and then you go and do your fast jump rope and your jumps and your plank. And as soon as you're done with those 2 rounds, you go straight into your jump and reach again, being nice and smooth. So again, it's literally the same exercises, but the workout's different. Keeps you engaged that way. So again, you can take the same stuff that you're doing and you can modify it a little bit. One day do something like I talked about on this Tuesday, where you do just the jump rope and the med ball exercise, doing the toes to ceiling movements, and then you can mix it up. So again, you don't have to do the same thing all the time. You can mix it up, but you can always do the same types of exercises and stay engaged that way and get better at them.
Yeah, no, these are great, Tyler, and thank you so much for putting these together. And I'm sure that there are a lot of people that are watching right now that are like, oh, how do I have to take a picture of this? Should I be writing it down? In just a little bit, we're going to actually be sharing a couple of files through the platform that you should see kind of like in your chat window area. So you'll be able to download a PDF of these things if you want. So just hang out for a couple more minutes. Tyler, this has been great. I mean, do you have anything else for us or any kind of final thoughts?
No, I think my final thoughts are more of like just stay active, right? Like stay engaged in thinking about swimming and thinking about what you should be doing. And if you do that during this time, then the end result, when we do get back in the water is going to be amazing. Like, you're going to crush it. There's so many swimmers out there thinking, oh my gosh, I'm missing this season. All right. Well, for a lot of the 11, 12, 13-year-old swimmers, that's painful. But like, there are swimmers out there right now who, like, this Olympic year was their very last year. And when they're done here, they're done. Like, they've got, they're going to be moving on. And so their window is like this, and your window is much bigger. So understand that you can do stuff now that's going to really improve and make your future pretty bright. Just be engaged with it. You don't have to do a lot. It doesn't have to be 2 hours of dry land. It can be 30 minutes or less, really, to just stay engaged.
Oh, and that's a great point. And I think something that all of our viewers right now should realize is that just the fact that you're here and the fact that you're open to learning something new, and the fact that you're open to taking this time to try to get better already puts you at an advantage over everybody else out there that's not here. Think about how many people that are just sitting at home that are in kind of a self-pity party and taking the negative approach to this instead of trying to find a way to make lemonade out of lemons, that old adage. And the fact that so many of you are here to try and learn from Tyler is huge. So I commend y'all for that. Tyler, awesome. Do you have anything else for us?
No, I think, again, you talk about so many people. Like, when you and I first talked, it was like, hey, that'd be awesome if there'd be a couple hundred people, and we've got 2,500 people watching right now. So I think, I don't know, we were going to maybe see if there was one or two questions that you pulled from the webinar, and just see if there was any. I don't know if anybody had many questions or not, but if not, then I'll sign off and I'll let you kind of answer some questions. But this has been awesome.
Yeah, no. So I've turned the chat back on, so people should have the ability to start asking questions in the chat box. I think it's calmed down a little bit more, but really, we want to hear from chat, guys. Like, what questions do you have for Tyler? And actually, here's a good one that just came through. What do you suggest for those of us in the Midwest where the weather is cold and rainy?
Two things. One, again, a lot of these exercises here, you can do pretty much in a 3-foot area of space. The other thing here is, I spent a little bit of time Googling like hotel workouts, right? Like, that's kind of a thing. People will get to a hotel room and they'll need to work out. So you can always do like a modified version. If you can do it in a hotel room, right, you can find space in a house to do it. So that would be my recommendation. Don't think that you've got to have a lot of equipment and stuff like that, or even be outside. I demonstrated all of those dynamic warm-ups in place. So you don't have to be moving. You don't have to have a huge space. You just need a little one for all this.
There was another great answer, and I agree with all of that. There was another question that came through about what to do if you don't have a weight or a medicine ball or any weights. Yeah. Like, what can you use in place of a medicine ball?
Yeah, use this, right? Use this contraption here. It's not even about the weight, right? It's just about the movement, right? So hold your phone and you can move your phone back and forth and up and down. You're just moving your body. You're just being aware. Yeah, weight helps. A weight adds some resistance and can build some strength, but you don't have to have a weight, You don't have to have a jump rope. Just pretend like you're holding on and stay engaged that way.
No, very good. And I see that some of you have already downloaded that workout. I'm going to share the other one here in just a moment. Someone asked a question as to why there was a blank page at the beginning of it. I have no idea. That's how I received it. That's how it is. So just go to the next page.
It's on page 2. Yeah.
I'm sharing the other workout. The first one was the Tuesday workout. I'm going to share the Friday workout right now. And I just saw a really interesting coach's question. As a coach, Tyler, how do you continue to stay engaged with your swimmers during this time? Because obviously the normal part is just to show up to practice and everybody's there and you get to engage face to face. How are you handling that right now?
Well, I'll put it this way. The swimmer comes to practice, they get my full attention, right? They get my full engagement. Well, it's the same thing. If I take the time to come up with the workout, now it's just a thing of like, hey, I send it to them. It's their choice to be fully engaged with it, right? So as a coach, it's really hard because you can't follow up on every single athlete right now, especially the younger swimmers. in my opinion, if you've got a 10 and under kid who's swimming, taking 2 months or 3 months off for a 10-year-old's not going to hurt them. They're going to come back and they're going to be faster. And you're like, how's that possible? Well, they'll just be faster. As they get a little bit older, just engaging with them and sending them a workout, right? Like send them a video, send them something, post something to your team's Facebook page, but just be engaged. And if they receive it, that's their choice. Just the same way it's their choice if they come to practice. It's their choice if they use that video that you send out.
Okay, cool. I'm sharing both workouts again. I saw there are a couple of people that hadn't downloaded it, but they're both being shared right now, so you should be able to get them. There was another really good question as to how. Hold on, let me find it. There's so many people that are asking questions, which is awesome. So in the workout plan that you showed us in the presentation, it showed that there was like something to do every day, right? Mm-hmm. If you had to pick between the morning or the afternoon, what do you think makes more sense?
Yes, they both make sense, right? Like honestly, it doesn't matter, right? Like morning or afternoon, just do it, right? Like just do it. Find time to do it. It could be 9 o'clock at night. It could be your lunchtime. It could be in the morning. Like that's what I'm talking about. Just stay engaged. I think a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, I've got to do it at this time for this long, at this intensity. And if I don't do it that way, then I'm going to get worse at swimming. That's not true at all. Like don't think that way. Like if you are engaged and you do a little bit, even if you do something twice a week, when you get back in the water, you're going to be fine. You're going to do a great job and you're going to keep moving forward. You don't have to worry about all that extra stuff. That's just too much stress for you to try to, internalize and take in. You're not going to get behind. Stay active, stay engaged, and at that point, you'll be fine.
Yeah, awesome, man, awesome. Well, I think we're going to cut it there. I know, Tyler, you've got a family to take care of, and you've been super gracious, especially right now, to let us use your living room.
We're lucky that I have a 2-year-old that she hasn't just run across the background just screaming.
Well, no, thank you very much for being here. We really appreciate it, and I think all of the viewers, I'm sure, appreciate it as well. So hopefully you have a good rest of your day, and I'll follow up with you after this. But thanks for coming very much, and I'll let you go. And I've got just a couple more things for everybody, so don't leave. Tyler, thank you very much.
I appreciate it. Looking forward to it.
Yes, sir.
Everyone, luck, stay safe, be smart, and we'll be back in the water before we know it. All right?
Yes, sir. All right, bye-bye. All right, everybody. So this has been awesome. Really, that was honestly pretty cool. Like a lot of what Tyler said, I'm going to be using at home. Here in Charlotte, North Carolina, we aren't under a mandatory shelter-in-place order, even though that might be coming. But I'm definitely going to use a lot of this. And I encourage you guys to continue to hit us up on social media. Let us know what you think of this webinar. Let us know what you thought of what Tyler had to give you. Also, I want to know from everybody, what are some other topics that you want us to be talking about? Of course, we have a couple more webinars coming up. And on Tuesday, we're going to be doing a webinar with Tucker Dupree and Kim Vandenberg. And the main topic is just going to be about dealing with adversity. Right now, there's a lot of adversity in life right now. And I think that's going to be a great topic. And then next Friday, so a week from today, we're going to have Brett Hawk on, and we're going to be breaking down sprint freestyle. Obviously, Brett Hawk he's an Olympic legend himself, Olympic coach, and sprint freestyle is like his thing. Obviously, he's very good at coaching everything, but sprint freestyle is his forte for sure. So keep an eye out for that. To be honest with you, this is my first webinar. It's the first one I've ever hosted. It's the first one I've ever been a part of. I'm glad it's gone so well. And to be honest with you, like I'm humbled, and I know that the rest of us at Fitter Faster are humbled that so many of you are here. Let's all try to approach these next several weeks with as much positivity as possible and try to find a way to turn, again, lemons into lemonade. I want you to ask yourselves, what else can you be doing to be productive with this time? How can you be better? How can you get better as a person or as an athlete over the next several weeks? I think these questions are really key. Again, we have more webinars coming. Lastly, there's Fitter Faster actually has a really valuable product called Swim Videos on Demand, and I'm gonna put an offer up on the screen here in just a minute. but it's filled with hundreds of drills. It's got a lot of swimming explanations from our top clinicians. You can access this at swimvideos.net or just click the offer that I'm about to show on your screen right now. Thank you very much. Again, as always, stay positive, stay safe, keep a lookout for future events, and wash your hands. So as everybody streams out, again, keep in mind we've got a lot coming. We're trying to expand our webinar database really quickly. We know that there's a huge need for just people to have stuff to do during the day, but also there's a kind of a lack of leadership out there, and we're going to try to be the leaders for you because, for me, I love doing clinics and I love being able to work with athletes, and the fact that that's kind of on hold right now isn't so great. And I really want to be able to continue to provide service to you and not just to the swimmers. Like, I know there are a lot of parents out there that need some direction in this time. And I know that there are a lot of coaches out there that could use a little bit of help in figuring out how to manage this unprecedented situation. So I'm going to sign off for now. If you have any other questions or any comments, we're going to be able to download all of that and kind of sift through it. Again, let us know what you want to hear. Thanks for coming. Be good, stay positive, wash your hands. Talk to you later.